So what is going on with our brother Diddy? We've been seeing him kind of hitting the headlines a little bit, and I think it's probably a good time to ask some people ask me, like I should share, a video instead of a written blog about what the living soul reveals about what Diddy is going through at this point in time in his life right now. So I think it's very important that I'm not doing this to cast or to spark anything. I just want to simply tap into the insights of what the numbers are at play and what is revealing in relation to P. Diddy's soul archetypes, as they are obviously they're active and they're showing some things right now. So the first thing that I want to draw everybody to understand is that Diddy is what we have. He operates in the four, and so his life path consists of the four. His journey, his consciousness, his living soul number is a four. What's interesting in Diddy's living profile is that he holds a conjunction in the four. In other words, so the four is very amplified because he has the four more than once in his profile, and so it's amplified. It's very strong, very amplified. So that also lets us know that it can show the high chances of the strengths that operates and emanates from the four, but as well, it also shows us that there can be some shadows that peppers in there. And so one of the shadows that do pepper in there is invasive touch and boundary violations. And the reason why is because when you have a strong, let's say an extreme in your soul archetype, that lets us know within inside the living soul system that there are possibilities or probability for a certain behavioral tendency to arise depending upon the situation, right? And the interaction with other different soul archetypes or energy that's being emanated that stimulates a certain response from that archetype. Okay, so we know, and we've been hearing rumors and stuff like that. So I'm just confirming that the conjunction in his four, points to that. Now, what's interesting is that I want to draw into the flow in P. Diddy's life cycle. P. Diddy is in the third life cycle of his life. He's 54 years old. Within the living soul system, being 54, his third life cycle, he's mindful of his legacy, the things he wants to leave back. He's probably in that state of mindset, realizing like he's achieved things and be able to leave back things. And what is my name going to represent after he is transitioned from, this plane of living? But in that, what's interesting is there's different milestones each year. Milestones, it highlights a certain force or energy field that brings more attention to us to highlight certain things within us to adjust, to grow, evolve, or assist, etc. So with Diddy being 54 and looking at his Earth alignment, so that all falls in line with Diddy being inside what we call the initiator, taking action, taking challenges, going about risk, you know, loves adventure, just wants to be able to assert himself and stuff like that. And that's obvious. We can see that. So that's really definitely at play. And so, but what is interesting being at 54, when we begin to look at the calculation and what it shows that he will be facing this year, it brings out a relation to the three. The three takes position. And so the three, what it lets us know is that the three is connected to the ego and gratification. So we're seeing something right now. We're seeing ego, gratification. I'll talk about the connection in his living soul archetype, which is the four, which is in a conjunction. And we see invasive touch, boundary violation. We're also seeing that, this year is a year of intention and validation. So in the midst of the intention and validation under the three, it's working very closely with the ego and the pursuit of gratification. And it deals with it in the present, but we know anytime we deal with the present, we're going to also look at the past. And so the energy and the forces we are around Diddy right now is what we call doing a heart inspection. It's inspecting the motives and intentions that has been accumulated all through his life, all the way up to now at age 54. And this is the time where things get, kind of gets revealed and clear and stuff like that. And to help you understand the result of your ego, is it in a healthy state or is it in a shadow state? And we'll be able to see by things that comes up in our lives, right? And so, and also how we utilizing that gratification, what does it generate for ourselves? So what is interesting that I think that we all have come to knowledge to understand is that there's some things swarming around Diddy. So he's fallen up under, like I said, under the 3 this year. And so just real quick to point out is, like I said, he's going through the heart inspection. And the things that shows where his resistance is coming at being under the 3 this year is under his 9, 5, and 6. And so that points to a lack of restraint on the 9. So there might have been a history of showing lack of restraint. There's probably showing a history of a surveillance mentality that comes up in his numbers, showing that he might have got involved with stalkerish or intimidation, surveillance mentality type stuff. Also, when we start looking at in alignment with his 5, we start to see this energy brings light to truth. And so it's probably bringing light to truth and the things that he avoids. So the 5, as is expecting the ego and the hearts and motives of the heart, this is what's going on with them this year. And then also under the 6 is a introspective energy archetype in the living soul system. And what it does is it just brings out straight introspection. And so there's an ego evaluation that's going on. So in the cosmos, when none of us exempt from it, there's certain periods in our lives where our ego goes under a deep cosmic investigation. And it begins to, and all life does is reveal and present to us what we are and what we have done or what we do, and also the results of our motives and intention. So this is kind of what's going on for, Diddy. There's a lot of things swarming around it. So just based off of the 3, so it's like with all this coming on, obviously there's some things that we see that we're hearing coming and rising. As a lot of it makes sense, but also in fairness to Diddy in this, what we're seeing the Living Soul reading, I want to bring out what are some things that he can do, what energies can he operate in, or forces can he tap into to try to navigate through this trying time as his ego is being under inspection, or being evaluated, I should say. Well, one thing is to really become empathetic. One of the things shown in his numbers that he can kind of fake like he really cares, a level of insincerity. So this year is really showing him to really give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? To really care about the people you're trying to influence or collaborate with. Really, really care. Put your heart there. Okay. Also, the important thing is to nurture environments for growth. So there's probably some things in his past where he didn't really necessarily nurture a lot of environments for growth. So if he starts to shift his mindset this year and to start to incorporate certain environments for growth, it can kind of help offset some of this energy that's coming at him right now. Also, another thing he can do is really tap into the communication like he's been doing, implement new ideas from a sincere space. So what's really happened this year is really calling his heart to question, to really get clear in your motives, really embrace that and get into the level of care. And what's interesting is the number 3 is overseen by the principle of care. So the things we care about, we manifest. So the things that he's been caring about before has a train of connections to him, has an interlink with them, and are now manifesting back. So now what he has to do is tap into this same energy that he used that might be coming disrupting where he wants to be. And he has to do the exact same thing, but he has to do it from the polar. All right. And so that's what's kind of going on for Diddy right now, is the space that he's in his life cycle at being at age 54. So hope this brings some insight.